Hello, this is The Way of Fairness. My name is Stephen Childs, and we're making progress. I have recently joined a religion that's called the Divine Assembly. And it's a mushroom church, psilocybin mushroom. And it's a miracle for me, what it's done in just 1 week. I have more energy. My thoughts are more organized. I'm not nearly as manic. I'm bipolar. And this is like saving my life. Last summer, I got some mushrooms, psilocybin. They were gifted to me. And my spirit guide told me to get more because she's explaining how it makes it easier for her to access my mind. And there's probably I think it has to do with the other surrounding minds, the telepathic abuse problem that I suffer from, telepathic gang stalking. So, if you've listened to my channel very much, you know that I've been given precognitive dreams, and I'm seeing how absolutely interconnected our minds are as humans. And some of us are more aware of it than others. And as you know, I'm faith-based atheist, so I think the mind emerged from no mind through no mind at all. And so people say, well, why is there something rather than nothing? And my answer is an insight that I had, and I found it also in the Heart Sutra in Buddhism. That which has form is that which is formless. So everything is actually nothing, and nothing is actually everything. That's what it says. That which has forms is formless, and that which is formless has form. So there's the concept of the empty cup. There's not anything in an empty cup. And that's what reality is. There's not anything in it. So the farther we delve into what is the root of reality, it's nothing. There is no root. Because it's just, this is a possibility of nothing at all. And our reality is one of the ways that nothing at all can exist. And so there's no creator because there isn't anything created. We're not created. And so we have these arguments worldwide on which religion's right and whether there's a God or not. And we have arguments on what should be done politically and what should be done psychologically. What is it that people should be taught? What is it that people can agree upon? We don't have unity, and that's the problem. So in order to have unity, we have to have agreement. So the big problems, let's look at the big problems first, because if we can solve the big problems, the smaller problems will be much simpler. because we'll have unity on the big problems like religion and government policy, what a government should be, what people should be taught in school. And all this is determined by the religious belief and the government belief. And they go together, and some countries more than others. Apparently, I can see the charging light. That red light on the side. So we're still good. The headset's charging. I've been having trouble with my headset, and my spirit guide said, "You're stupid. You're dumb." She said, "You're dumb." And in the past, I would be resentful and I would be angry to be putting up with that kind of telepathic abuse. And so I thought, well, maybe she's talking about the headset charging problem. And so, because I'm in a relaxed state of mind because of the psilocybin mushrooms, I was able to calmly, systematically, in an organized fashion, use my mind the way it used to be to solve the problem. And I started wiggling the plug on this plug-in that goes into the charger. And the light, I noticed, I'm not in a hurry, so I held it in for a minute, and the light came on. Oh, voila, it's charging. And so I started to problem solve, troubleshoot, and I tested a different charging cord. And voila, the different charging cord stays plugged in. So I had a charging cord that was defective. And it's important to be able to do things efficiently and effectively. And with the psilocybin mushrooms, my energy level and my thought process are much more effective and efficient. Maybe I'm not jumping all over the place so much as I usually do. So, hopefully this leads to some insight for the listeners. And hopefully the money comes in. I was dreaming about this brick of gold. Years ago, I was in the early stages of working with the extraterrestrial mind, and I had a Kundalini awakening, and it was really incredible. And so I started researching that, and I found out that it was common for people to have trouble with sanity during Kundalini awakening experiences. And I found a book that said Bonnie Greenwell, Energies of Transformation, and she thought that perhaps 100 or so people that are diagnosed with bipolar disorder or schizophrenia are not actually bipolar or schizophrenic at all. They're going through a Kundalini awakening. And so there's something about that that's valid. So historically, humans have had medicine men, shaman, seers, visionaries, people that have precognitive dreams, prophets. So we have to call them prophets because we're so westernized that when you tell someone you have a precognitive dream about the future, they say, well, you're a prophet. You're of the Bible. You're of God. You're a man of God. And I'm like, no, I'm an atheist. And so see the problem with the disagreement on what things are about? We need evidence. We need evidence, and we need unity and power. We need power. We need a force that's able to unify the people. And we don't want to use tyranny to do it. This is what we're trying to stop, is the authoritarian tyranny. And this is what I was afraid of, was authoritarian tyranny. And last summer when I was gifted these mushrooms, the fear was right there. I've been trying to figure out what my fear's about. And I could feel it as if there was someone standing beside my bed as I'm laying there, greatly affected by the mushrooms because I had no tolerance to them. So I only took like 1 ounce, 1 gram, I mean. But I was extremely affected. I was wondering if I was going to be okay. It was so strong. So I had to tell myself to just relax, stay calm. It was powerful because I hadn't taken any psilocybin mushrooms since I was probably in my 20s, early 20s. And I'd only taken psilocybin mushrooms maybe twice in my life. And I really loved what it did for me back then. But it's, it's illegal. It's a felony. It's class 1 law against them. But there's so much research going on how effective they are for depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Even it's helpful for schizophrenics because the nature of their attacks become friendlier. And like I said, I'm bipolar, and I'm experiencing extreme gang stalking telepathically, death threats telepathically. And this is what I want to focus on for a minute here now, is the nature of this telepathic abuse. And I've done some research, and there's quite a few of us that have posted stuff online about this topic, telepathic gang stalking. There are harassment laws we have already established, and there are gang stalking laws that we already have established. And of course, they're not dealing so much with telepathy or mind connection, but there's been some cases where there's like some kind of bombardment with some kind of technology, and there's been so many people get sick at the same time that they know something's going on. The government knows. So see, that's paramount, that the government's on our side and we're on the government side, and the religion's on our side and we're on the religion's side. We're on everybody's side. There's only one side. See, that's where we're trying to get to. And it's just all the humans trying to stop humans from harming humans. Man against man is the way they used to describe it. There's man against nature, man against man, the basic themes in literature. What is going to be taught in the schools? Is it going to be that we have a flat earth, that God created us in 6 days, etc.? Or is it going to be that we're questioning our interpretation of the data about the Big Bang, and we don't know what the hell is going on or where we're at, and we really don't know? And that's the honest truth. And we may never know. And that's the honest truth. And that's okay. It's okay to have an unknown, and known unknowns. It's all right to not know, to not have the answer. Like religion says, this is the way it is, and everybody's supposed to believe this. Well, we can't, because the evidence says that what you're telling us in the religion is wrong. And there's so many scriptures that are very unfair, horribly unfair. I mean, there's some dreadfully wrong things in scripture. The telepathic abuse. When I'm under the effect of the psilocybin, the nature of it changes dramatically. It's like they eventually give up because my mind is not receptive to attaching to the things that I'm hearing telepathically, that I always do every day. Some days maybe I don't hear very much at all from the group that is trying to get me to surrender to them. I don't hear much at all. And it's like the percentage of me experiencing telepathic abuse from the minds that want me to surrender to them, they define me as the problem, I'm causing conflict. It's probably reduced by 80% just from the mushrooms. Now, the fear, see, that they have fear, and that's what sets the ball rolling. If they can cause me to have fear of something, they invite me to be afraid of things. They tell me about stuff that I should be afraid of. And if I have faith in a loving mind, a loving, all-powerful oneness of reality, and it cares about me. See, an example of this is ourselves. I care about you. I care about what's happening to you and your children and your grandchildren. And I care about what's happening to your friends and family. So that's an example of the universe does care about us. See, we are in the universe. The universe is us. What we've learned from science is that everything's quantum mechanically connected, entangled. And it's all one thing. It's not many parts. The method of science is to I forgot what they call it. Oh well, it's okay. We break things apart to figure out what they are. And when we broke things apart and we started using atom smashers, first it started with the gas chamber, and we knew there was these particles affected by magnetic fields because they would curve different directions depending on their charge. And they'd show up in a cloud chamber, just like a flask or a container that you chill it so that the vapor starts to condense and it forms a cloud, and then you put some like uranium or something on the side of it and watch it shows tracks in the cloud, kind of like condensation trails is another example of a disturbance causing a cloud trail. So this is where we first figured out there was subatomic particles. Look where we're at now. The super collider. Okay, so because of that, we've realized that everything's one thing. Quantum mechanics. Bell's theorem. It's been proven. So it supports the all-powerful oneness idea. I was calling it the all-powerful all, but I think oneness is a better human word to describe it. Because it includes everyone. The all could be some God that's the all, you know what I mean? Now, how can you picture a God that's oneness and not include everything with it? So all-powerful oneness is a much better description. And there's already a lot of people talking about oneness as a divine quality. Okay, so if we have enough power from our argument, it's understandable and it's helpful, and the people that are critics against our argument, they can't stop us because our argument is overwhelmingly convincing. So that's what we're trying to get to. And I have family and friends that are skeptics, and that they're friends that I choose to not be around anymore because they're just trying to sabotage me for what, it's like maybe they're trying to force me into digging up some evidence. So remember I was talking about the gold from a brick of gold from years ago in dreams, and I was reading about Black Elk, the Oglala Sioux Indian, who had the vision of all the tribes becoming one tribe. So they were represented as hoops, like circles, and all the tribes became one circle. And so the all-powerful oneness is like we're all in a circle, and there's not a being in the center of the circle that we serve. It's fairness that we serve. We serve the idea that humans should not be done wrong. So it's an ideology instead of a God as some mythological being that's an individual. We're not doing that. We're doing the idea of fairness rather than the being that of some particular God, Neptune or whatever. So I had these experiences of Neptune being an authoritarian god at the job site, and that's who was trying to get me. That's who had control of the majority of the people. They were doing what Neptune wanted. In my experience, I could see it happening. And Neptune was adversary to me because I was not going to surrender to Neptune. And so who was Neptune actually? I don't know. It might have been some boss somewhere. It might have been the most powerful human authoritarian. Maybe a policeman or a politician or just somebody that nobody even knows it's them. Just an everyday human being that has moved up this pyramid of power and is at the apex of the pyramid as the most powerful human, and that's who we call Neptune. So our mythologies about the gods came from this phenomena. And so it's like Shiva in India, his human form is Shankara, and he's human. And so it comes from stories about powerful humans in our past history. So there's, like in Hindu, there's the Ram and Sita, and the big story is the Ravana, the evil tyrant atheist king, stole Ram's wife. Well, see what I mean? We're talking about human, and it's Sri Lanka. He's the king of Sri Lanka. That's what the story is about in India. So even though Ram and he got the animal tribes to serve him, and Hanuman is half monkey, virgin birth story. His father's the wind, and his mother's a human, and he has a tail. So we have, in the West, we have the devil has a tail. But Hanuman is not a devil. He's serving the good God. And Shiva has the Trishula, like our devil has the trident, and Neptune has the trident. So I think this is why I was they were telling me the word Neptune in my mind. Okay, so maybe we can understand the workings of mythology and how it affects people and how ideas affect people. And our object is to unify all humans against human unfairness to other humans. Nobody wants to be done wrong. So that's the unifying idea. Let's get together and stop all the people from doing others wrong, because nobody wants to be done wrong. Make that connection. It's doing the math. We could say nobody wants to be done wrong, throwing our hands in the air. We have no way to stop from being done wrong. Or we can say, well, we just need to stop each other from doing each other wrong. So I have to stop doing other people wrong. I agree. And we have to get everybody else to agree. And this is the way of fairness. This is the idea in the way of fairness. And I'm going to go back to this group of people that they think that the answer is that we surrender to their political power, their religion or politics. Islam, Judeo-Christianity are examples of religions that want everyone to surrender to their religious politics. The Republican Party is that way now. And they don't care about the truth. They only care about winning with by hook or by crook. Through intimidation, through manipulation. It's like 1984, George Orwell. So if you talk against them, they all gang up on you. I was a truck driver, and I'm a progressive Democrat, and probably 90% of the drivers that I was around were Trump Republicans. At least 80 at certain times. And the other Democrats, they wouldn't say nothing. They would get attacked, and I would say something, and I got attacked by a bunch of guys instantly. And sometimes they would be angry, like, how dare you say something like that? You're taking away my way of life, that kind of thing. So we can stay in this fighting each other mode. And the result of that is wars, hatred, the regular old way of humanity is this, and it's all of our warfare. So we just keep making this argument in the way of fairness, and the government will see that it's right. The billionaire CEOs will see that it's right, and it's their only chance to not have the possibility of something like the guillotine happen again, as it did in France. When the poor people got power, they were cutting the heads off of the elite with the guillotine. So, see what I'm saying? This is all about actual evidence and actual logic, reason, the power of reason. And I'm listening to Lisa Miller, and she's connecting science with spirituality in a very effective way. They have MRI evidence that you can put a healer in an MRI, a spiritual healer, and there's a person in another MRI in another room. I don't know how far away this would work. Probably there's not really a limit because of non-locality. All places are the same place in non-locality mode. So the healer's doing the healing thoughts on the other person. The healer's brain creates a pattern that's picked up by the MRI. That exact pattern starts resonating in the mind of the person being healed. It's like particle physics. It's similar. It's like that thought can exist in two places at the same time. So she's explaining our right to spiritual healing in that way. And she talks a lot about unifying the religions so that all the different religions are working toward this oneness and this spiritual scientific fact that our brain, the human brain, is wired for this healing to happen to us. So I've experienced it, like with Hindu and the idea of the Guru Dev, the divine Guru. People do puja to the deities representing whatever God. And there's humans that teach people how to do it. So the Guru's changing darkness to light and leading you to truth. Excuse me. So then you get this grace feeling in your heart and tears in your eyes from this. That's what we're talking about. Our human brain is wired to have this happen. And the heart feeling is manifest in the brain as a pattern that you can see on an MRI. Okay, so what's in the way now? I don't know. See, we just watch what happens today and be ready to make friends with everyone. So that's what I've been doing recently, explaining to the property owners, to the people, my neighbors, about conflicts. Like, we're trying to stay friends. We want everyone to stay friends, and everybody agrees. We want everyone to stay friends and protect each other. So, see, that's the key, is teach that. Teach that to everyone. And any time a conflict comes up, teach them that we want to stay friends, we want to protect you. There's not a bad guy. And this is going to work out. If you think those thoughts, this thought pattern will manifest in the other person's mind. They will feel it. Love you. Have a great day.